Hey, welcome to the Draft Daily Fantasy Show with Chris and Jay. For those of you that have tuned in, we are at week 7 in the NFL. We've had a great time. We've helped you guys out with your lineups and your selections in daily fantasy sports. You guys also, with our help, you've whooped my butt, and had some switch arounds there, as opposed to we show you our lineup. So you guys, I know we're helping you guys out because you guys are whooping my butt. And and probably doing a little damage to Chris too. But other than that, me and Chris are going to go over week 7 NFL lineups for draftdaily.com, everything like that. And I know it's week 7 already. So make sure that you remember that Fantasy Gold is cryptocurrency that powers draftdaily.com, daily fantasy sports. And let's get fired away, man. Let's do the injuries and the weather real quick.
All right. I think the biggest.
Do you know what I want to do?
What's that?
Let's do boobs and weather. So I'm going to take off my shirt. I got tassels on, and I'll do the weather report with my boobs. No, I'm just joking. But I did see a show like that. I wanted to let you know that. I saw a girl doing the NFL weather report with tassels on her boobs, dude. I was like, what is this show? It's called something, boobs and weather or something.
That's great. There used to be a thing called a website way back in the early days of the internet called the Naked News, and it was literally women standing there fully nude doing the news. It actually got a lot of run back in the day.
I bet it did. There's a show now. I forgot the dang name of it. Somebody out there will post it in the comments section. All right, sorry to disturb you. That disturbed me. So let's go to the weather and injuries.
All right, I'll start with injuries. Couple of big receiver notes. Jamison Crowder is out Sunday for the Redskins. It's looking like Paul Richardson also going to be out. Maurice Harris is going to have to fill in. He played a lot of snaps last week with them out. We expect the same this week. The other receiver for them that's going to probably see a big increase in targets is Josh Doxson. And it should be noted both Doxson and Harris are very, very inexpensive, $3,600 and $3,000 on the pricing this week on Draft Daily. So it might be a spot to look at. The other big one that everyone's been talking about is Cooper Kupp is out this week. He's basically going to swap out with Josh Reynolds. I think Josh Reynolds is going to be really chalky this week. I don't know if I'm going to play him. I think it really gives a boost to the rest of that offense, between Woods, Gurley, and Cooks. I think you're going to actually see most of those Cooper Kupp targets go to those three, possibly even the tight end. I really think the way I was looking at the way this game's going to lay out and just knowing the way that Sean McVay likes to get creative, I think they're going to put Reynolds on the outside against Richard Sherman and just kind of leave him out there kind of just to take Sherman out of the game. And you're not going to see too many targets from him. The one other receiver that is worth noting that it was just put on IR this week is New Orleans receiver Ted Ginn Jr. We should see some increased snaps for Traquan Smith. He has split snaps with somebody else last week, but he's clearly a Cam Meredith, I think it was. Traquan's clearly the better receiver, in my opinion. I think that you will see him get quite a bit more run. He's also 3,700. There's a lot of good, cheap receivers this week. It's a week to go cheap on receivers. I really think just the way looking at the way lineup construction works with all these injury notes. One other one that's not really an injury, but is definitely worth noting is Carlos Hyde was traded from my Browns today. My Browns have now traded away their two best players for 5th round picks who probably aren't even going to make the team next year. So that's awesome. Miss you, Sashi. Wish you were here. But yeah, so Carlos Hyde is not going to be playing for the Jaguars this weekend. That leaves TJ Yeldon in full effect. It really, to me, looks like they're going to be putting Leonard Fournette on IR. I'm surprised they haven't already. It definitely gives a huge boost to Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson for Cleveland. They are playing Tampa Bay this weekend with I think a 51 total. So I really could see that game, both those guys, they're both going to end up getting quite a bit of ownership. This news just broke today. So most of my projections and stuff don't have it. I haven't had time to build it in yet, but I expect those guys to get, I don't know, maybe Duke Johnson, probably 10%, and Chubb probably in the range of 15 to 20. So that's definitely something to look out for. Chubb is good. He had one really good game where he got 2 touchdowns and 100 some yards on 3 carries, but they Browns came out and said the reason we traded Hyde was so that Chubb could become our feature back and that we could get him more run. So that's about it. Running backs I got, receivers I got. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we're good on that.
Okay.
So weather real quick. Not much weather. Obviously things can change by Sunday, but the big one we're seeing now is it looks like the Jets game is going to be really windy. 50-mile-an-hour sustained winds with 25-mile-an-hour plus gusts. Kicks and deep throws probably be the most impacted. Storms in Jacksonville, which is normal, and then Philly does also look like it's going to be pretty windy. Definitely be mindful of the weather situations coming into the games in the morning, but don't overreact to them. You will find that the field really likes to overreact to weather. It's been going on for years, and a lot of times you can find an edge there by playing guys in a potentially bad weather game where it may not be that bad, or they're not sure. Even the Denver game last week, I mean, it was cold, but they were showing the field in the morning, and it was just like the whole stadium was just so white out. It was covered in snow, and they're going, oh my gosh, it's so bad. And then by the time the game hit, there was no wind. Field was clear. The weather didn't even end up mattering other than the cold, which these guys can handle. They're professionals. So that's about it. Not too much worry about the weather this week.
All right. Well, let's go. Let's base everything off draftdaily.com. And I'm going to let everybody know right now that this will include the night game, the 8:20 night game. So when you're creating lineups on any other site but draftdaily.com, please keep that in mind. So I'm going to keep everything via draftdaily.com, which will include the night game. Do you want to start at quarterbacks this week, or do you want me to do it? Do you want to take what do you want to do? We can rotate.
Oh, go ahead. You can start.
I like Goff, but I'm waiting for the week where they just run Todd Gurley and they know they can win. And that's the only thing that scares me about that. I love Andy Dalton. I love Patrick Mahomes. Kirk Cousins. I just hope the wind gusts there aren't, 18. I hope they're not 16 to 25 miles an hour the whole time, because that's definitely going to have a negative impact on the game. On a side note, on that game, Adam Thielen needs 100 yards to be the first receiver to have, 10, 11, who knows? I don't know. He's had so many 100-yard games. It's kind of, crarazy.
He's something else, man. He really is.
Yeah, and I didn't know he was that good, but
neither did I.
He is, dude. Jameson Winston and the Browns, Baker Mayfield, they both look good. However, I mean, I don't know. I think Cleveland's defense is a tad better than Tampa Bay, so I guess with Winston and Mayfield, whatever one's cheaper, I don't think there's going to be too much of a difference in separation in point production, because neither one of them run much, and that's usually the difference maker. I've really liked Carson Wentz this week, and I am not a Carson Wentz believer, but I really do like Carson Wentz, and I like Cam Newton too. But you know what? Every time I pick Cam Newton, he has a terrible game, man.
I have the same problem with him, man. I can never seem to get Cam right.
No, and I mean, watch this game be a shootout, and I'm not touching anything in Carolina. The only thing I'll touch is McCaffrey. And literally, I mean, I saw a post today, and one of the wide receivers said, I'm 41 years old, and I could have 100 yards versus Philadelphia. That's how beat up Philadelphia's secondary is. So I mean,
this might be your DJ Moore week. I know it didn't work out that well last week because he got caught 3 passes and had 2 fumbles, but this might be the week. You're right. And the other thing to note on that game is the Eagles' front line has just been playing stellar. They've got like the best run defense in the league. So, unless if they don't get McCaffrey out in space and they just try to run him the whole time, it's gonna be a long day for him. I think they're really good up front.
Yeah, I'm watching what Cam Newton did last week.
Yeah,
I'm just not sold on him, dude. I mean, I think he's better than average, but he's not Tom. He's not. I mean, honestly, if you gave me a choice, I'd take Patrick Mahomes over him. Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. I'm naming quarterbacks that I definitely would put. Even Andrew Luck, man. I would put all of them ahead of Cam Newton. So anyway, I know you love this name, Osweiler. I got Brock, man.
Rock out with your Brock out, brother.
Yeah, I got him as let's see. And
Brock Osweiler won somebody $1 million last week. There you go.
And I got Mitchell Trubisky. But that's going to be a funny game. And the only reason I like Mitchell Trubisky is because he has Turk Cohen to throw to. Even if Allen Robinson's hurt, and he's still, that Trey Burton's still there. And I expect Trey Burton to have some, to get some share of that. If Robinson is hurt, Allen Robinson, a share of that too. I
like Trubisky too this week. I think that they got embarrassed last week against a terrible Miami team, and I think Matt Nagy is very creative offensively, and you saw what a creative offense did against New England and Kansas City. Granted, Chicago isn't Kansas City, but at the same time, I think you're right. I think they're gonna run some trick plays, and they're gonna get some guys open, and that game could be very interesting.
Yeah, I hope I'm right, because if you've noticed, when Cohen runs the ball, he's actually outgaining Jordan Howard in every aspect.
Jordan Howard snaps have gone down every week since week 1, and Cohen's have gone up.
As they should, because Cohen should be. Yeah, and it's just like, that's the quarterbacks. But one other thing we didn't touch on is, speaking of New England, their running backs having some injury. I've seen injury designation on their running back, on Sony Michel.
It's so hard with New England and injuries because Bill Belichick likes to play these mind games where basically the entire offense is questionable every week. Gordon, Edelman, Sony Michel, they all have questionable. Gronkowski, they all have questionable tags every week. It's his way. It's his way of bucking the system, because they just changed this where they don't have to do doubtful or probable anymore. It's just questionable. And what is that? Last year or 2 years ago, they started doing that, and ever since then, he just basically makes his whole lineup questionable. They make up things like Gronk had a finger injury one week, like a sprained finger or something. It was like something that didn't even sound real. It's such a Belichickian move to just do that. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, so that's what I have for quarterbacks. My favorite quarterback is probably it's Mahomes, man. So that's, I can't. The guy,
he's amazing. I saw somebody tweeted out last week, and I told a couple of my friends this week. He's turning the NFL into the Big 12. I feel like I'm watching a college game when I'm watching him play, because just the amount of points they put up and the deep shots with the wide open receivers downfield. You don't see that kind of
game. The speed of the game is so fast.
It's so much fun. They make it so much fun to watch. I just wish there was more of that. I know the league's trending that way, but man, it's just I look forward to watching that Kansas City team every week. For sure.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and rock out the running backs.
So I got a quarterback that I wanted to talk about that you didn't talk about. Somebody who I'm actually going to be playing a lot of this week, and who would be my cash game recommendation. And that is CJ Beathard. San Francisco, he's exceeded salary expectation twice. Because he played Monday night, the statistical sites didn't account for his really good game on Monday in his salary. So he's really cheap. What is he? He's 4,800. you can fit a lot of extra play into the rest of your lineup by putting a $4,800 quarterback in, and they're going to be down. I mean, it's almost inevitable, which means they're going to be throwing. Heck, it could even be a thing where he's just chucking it in garbage time and just racking up the points in the fourth quarter. It could be one of those kind of games. And as you saw last week with Brock Osweiler, the range of outcomes for quarterbacks is much lower than any other position. We talk about this every week. It's like most of the time the quarterbacks are going to score somewhere between like 15 to 18 to 25 points in that range. And even the worst ones will normally, unless your name is Josh Rosen, will normally get that kind of score. So I am all over Beathard this week.
Yeah, that's what scares me about Beathard. That could be another 48-10 game.
It could be. You're right, but I don't know, man. San Francisco looked pretty good last week. And they've got a chip on their shoulder because they option their games out of prime time, and I don't know. I like it. I'm gonna be playing Beathard a lot this week.
Then you might win, and I won't because I'm not
either that, or I'm gonna lose all my money.
I'll take Mr. Mayfield for 800 more.
So I like the Beathard to Marquise Goodwin stack. That's going to be this. I'm going to run that stack out there quite a bit. So.
Oh wow, he's going San Fran on us.
Yes, I am. So, and then I'm going to run that back with like Gurley or Thomas or somebody, one of those high price guys. So, all right, that was it. I'm pretty much on the same page with everything else. The one other one that I'll say that I really like, and I hate recommending him because he always burns me, but is Joe Flacco. I just feel like this could be the wacko for Flacco week. You know how he is. He has like that 1 or 2 games a year where he throws for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. And it's like, where does this guy come from? Where is he the rest of the year? But he just, once in a while, they just get him and he just cockbacks and just chucking it the whole game. And they're playing New Orleans, so it's going to be a shootout. The pace of play of both these teams is 2 of the highest in the league, which is really surprising for Baltimore. They run like one of the most highest play counts offensively of any team in the league this year, which is something they haven't done in the past. So I actually really like Flacco this week. He's going to be one of my tournament guys for sure.
Flacco for Flacco.
Yeah. And being an AFC North Browns fan, it's hard for me to recommend Flacco, but I feel like this could be wacko for Flacco week.
Well, we're about to find out.
Oh, yes, we are.
But I would tell you, I feel more comfortable starting Flacco over Flacco against the New Orleans defense that is not nowhere near the level of St. Louis Rams defense. I feel more comfortable starting a Flacco than a Weatherford. Anybody from, I don't care what quarterbacks on San Francisco, unless, well, it doesn't even matter.
I'm pretty sure a couple of the guys from LA are banged up. A couple of their secondary. I know their line is tough. Their front line is
with Dominican Sue and all them guys.
And Aaron Donald. Yeah, they're beasts. Yeah. But I just, like I said, 4,800. It's just too. I don't trust Brock. Here's my thing about Brock Osweiler. They didn't have any time to prepare for Brock Osweiler last week. They prepared for Tannehill. I mean, granted, they're not that different of a quarterback, but this week, the Lions have an entire week to prepare for Brock Osweiler. And if you know anything about Brock Osweiler, he's not very good. He is very turnover prone. So I'm actually, we'll get to that, but I'm actually really interested in the Lions defense this week.
All right. Well, let's fire away these running backs. It's going to be a tough week for running backs. It is real bad because you know how I feel about guys that split carries, guys that I hate that because sometimes it burns you, Mm-hmm. A lot of times you think Tariq Cohen's going to do this or do that. And guess what? For some stupid reason, Jordan Howard starts the game off and he's getting, 6 yards of carry and they keep feeding him the rock. And then Cohen's numbers all go down or anybody like Peyton Barber. I mean, there's 2 other running backs there that they could feed the ball to.
Well, you got some of these guys that only work in the red zone or on the goal line. You got some that only work in passing down situations. You got some that only work on first and second down.
Yeah, and then Kerryon Johnson, another one.
Then
he's not the only one there.
But then you have Ezekiel Elliott and Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
Who just are just there. No matter what the situation, no matter what the down, no matter what the yardage, they're there. That's where I was going to go with it this week. Just put Todd Gurley in your lineups. Don't even think twice about it. Play him in most of your lineups. Play him in cash. Play him everywhere. And if you can fit Zeke, do the same thing. You know, that's especially in cash games. They are going to be very chalky. I have them like 35% each, potentially higher. What
was he last week, Gurley? What did he wind up being?
Let me look here. I can tell you right away.
This member's price was real high. Well, it was $200 higher.
Yeah, and he paid off too. He totally did. He was 22% last week.
Yeah, that's where he'll probably be around, man.
So, and his price went down for some weird reason, $200 this week. I think just because of the slate.
I told you, dude. Now, the algorithms are nuts.
Now, the contrarian play at running back this week, and this is so weird for me to say, but it is Alvin Kamara. He's 8,500. Everyone's nervous with what's his name, Ingram back, and he's not going to get that much play. I have him like 5 to 10%, probably on the lower end. And so for your big GPP lineups, Kamara could be the way to go. Like I said, stacking that Baltimore New Orleans game could be a good avenue to take in the large tournaments. Yeah, because that game could totally shoot out. But yeah, I like Kamara this week because, like I said, I just like him because I don't think anyone's going to play him. And I think they gave him a break last week. He was getting 30 plus touches a game for the first 5 weeks of the season. He needed a break.
Yeah, I don't see a shootout happening. We haven't had a shootout since Pittsburgh, and there's another problem with New Orleans. They're night and day when it comes to home and away.
Their home road splits, yeah. Reed's home road splits are insane.
So if you're expecting 275 yards, 292 from Drew Brees, 2 touchdowns, that seems about realistic.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect 350 or more yards and 4 touchdowns from him this game.
It depends on if Baltimore keeps putting up points. I think that, you know, because if Baltimore's just scoring every time, they're gonna New Orleans is just gonna keep trying to move the ball down the field with big chunk plays.
I know, but I'm not sure that. I mean, I think Baltimore can stop New Orleans. That's what I'm trying to tell you, man.
You know, the Browns did until late in that game.
We got to
go back to that game, and we
got a starting cornerback on our bench. Do you realize that we have a cornerback that could start for 31 NFL teams sitting on our bench?
Yeah, you're right. Baltimore's defense is really good. They're really good. They're the best in the league right now, in my opinion. Yeah.
All right.
Funny, I think of Buffalo as the second best defense in the league, which is so sad.
Who else you got besides Zeke and Gurley, man? I know you got a bunch of people in your bag of tricks.
A couple obvious ones. Definitely looking at Chubb this week now that Hyde is gone. Definitely looking at Duke Johnson as well. I know they will get both them involved. They really wanted to get Duke really more involved, and I think Duke fits Mayfield's style, where they're going to run those little outs and those little quick dump offs and those try to get him out in space and let him make magic happen. And then the one I really like, who I'm going to be playing a lot of this week, is Kerryon Johnson. And I was actually, I mentioned that Detroit's pass catching back is out. He's not playing.
Theo Rednick.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Theo Rick. So I really, really, really like Kerryon Johnson this week as well. I don't know. I'm struggling with running backs this week. There's some weird ones. I like Cohen and Corey Clement for Philly, but again, both those guys, like you talked about earlier, they have high upside, but they also have very low floors because they run those split back offenses where they're only out there for half the amount of time as some of these guys like Gurley and Elliott are out there every single snap. You know, it's a lot of fantasy football is about the opportunity, and if you give a guy more opportunity, he's inevitably going to score more most of the time.
Oh yeah. So, now, I mean, I know that, you know, remember we got the night game, so I know for a fact it's for you. It's Gurley, Zeke, Mixon, Hunt.
Yes, I really like Mixon too. You're right. I forgot we're doing.
I'm not putting them in that order. The Gurley's the only one that can stay right there, but the rest of them, it's pick your poison. So let's just get that out of the
You're
way.
right. You're right. I forgot about that. My bad. Mix. I really do like Mixon this week.
From there on, you're throwing dice. So who else you got besides Kirion?
That's about it this week. I kind of like LaShawn McCoy this week. And he's been bad. He's only 4,600, man. I know he's burned me every week.
How long are you going to let him burn
you? Forever, because LaShawn McCoy has won me a lot of money over the years.
Yeah, that's the problem over the years. He's no good now. He's not. They're gonna that whole game. Their whole game plan is done because everybody's keen on him. They're like, okay, stop the run him, you'll win, and that's the truth.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of is, but at the same time, Indy's been bad against running backs.
Do you know Indy's got the fastest defense in the league? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, but they've been bad in the trenches.
I don't care how low they're ranked or how high they're ranked. I'm telling you now, they got the fastest defense in the league. They've got the fastest players in the league on defense. So they're built to stop running backs that catch screen passes, dude. Mm-hmm. Literally, that's what they're built. I mean, that's what they excel at because they're the fastest. So I'm not messing with McCoy, man. I won't mess with anybody from the Bills.
I actually, surprisingly, I have McCoy at like 10 to 15% ownership this week. People are actually getting back on him this week.
I love it. Oh, I love that. Boy, that helps me out a lot. So I don't have him at all.
I'll give you one more that I really like that he burned me so bad last week. I sent you my best lineup. Him and I had two. I basically was like 1.5 plays from winning the Millie Maker last week. And then that one of those guys I had was Nyheim Hines for Indy. Marlon Mack came back, and they literally forgotten Nyheim Hines was a thing after the dude just went off the 3 weeks before and looks completely stellar. Looks like he could be one of the top backs in the league coming up. He was out there for like 20 snaps. I don't understand these coaches sometimes. And they tried to run Marlon Mack up the middle of the freaking field, middle of the line, and just get a half a yard every freaking time he touches the ball.
That's what I'm trying to tell you that scares me, man. Every time I do a switcheroo, like because I'm going to tell you, I love Cohen. I mean, I'm like foaming at the mouth over him. And you know what? And I watched the game Sunday, and Jordan Howard will start off, and he'll be running real good. And then I'm like, where's Cohen? Where's Cohen? Where's Cohen? And then you're like, great. Now Jordan Howard decides to put a bug in his butt and starts running the ball real good. And you got Cohen that you got in all your lineups, and then he gets 10, 11 points, and you're like, oh well, Jordan Howard got 2 touchdowns, 85 yards, 20 some receiving. Cohen's sitting here with 36 yards, 70 receiving yards. Well, thanks. So that's the only problem that worries me about that.
Well, but that's the thing, because it's a lot of people think that way. So, and we're talking tournaments right now. I mean, obviously in cash you're playing Gurley, and you might have to find some salary relief somewhere else, but you're just playing Gurley. You're just doing it. You shouldn't even think about it. But yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to get that guy right a lot of times. You're absolutely right. It really is.
It really is.
So one of the other ones, I'll give you one more that I like. You're going to hate me. Kyle Juszczyk. And that is San Francisco again. And that is because I feel like this game script is going to be LA gets the ball, scores a touchdown. LA gets the ball, scores a touchdown. LA gets the ball, scores a touchdown. And it's going to keep happening. And San Francisco's going to have to try to keep pace. So whether it actually happens or not is yet to be seen. But if they're going to try, he's going to get the opportunity. He is their pass catching back. They made that very clear. So, yeah.
My problem with that is Ryan Mostert.
He got some run last week. He did
12 carries, 84 yards.
He did. He was running good too, man. He was hitting people. He was bowling over people, making moves. He looked good. He did. I will admit that he definitely looked good.
Yeah, and I'm worried now because even if Breida is healthy, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that you got Mostert now. I mean, 12 carries, 87. That's 7.8 yards a carry or something like that, man. That's 12 carries. I mean, you better realize something. Melvin Gordon only gets like 14 carries sometimes.
Right.
I mean, when you're averaging that many yards a carry, and you're rushing for 26 yards or more on some of them carries, it wasn't like one carry for 87 yards. I mean, even if you take the one carry he had for 26 yards off, you're still sitting at 11 for 50, which is almost 5 yards a carry. So I like Breida. You know, I've liked Breida all year. He can't stay healthy and he's burnt me every week. But now I'm actually even scared because if I'm San Francisco, I'm going to run all three of them guys. You know, Breida, Mostert, and I'm going to use Juszczyk. So now I'm like, you know, why wouldn't they? They only have one wide receiver and a tight end. They don't have anything else. They have abysmal quarterback. Okay, he might be average, but if I'm 49ers, I am definitely going to try to control this game. You know, I mean, remember, Green Bay had to climb out of a hole to get them.
They did. They look good. They look halfway decent against Green Bay.
I think if San Francisco would have stuck with a different game plan, like burning that clock up a little more, you know, I think the outcome.
Man, I think the fourth quarter in that game they should have tried to make moves. They had two opportunities in the fourth on their own side of the field, and they ran it up the middle on first and second, and then threw a little screen pass on third down to try to get the first, and gave the ball back to Green Bay. And it was just like you can't give Aaron Rodgers the ball back in the fourth quarter down points because you're not going to win if you do that.
Well, there's 5 to 6 passes that stop the clock, you know, and every time you stop that clock, it's over a minute.
Yeah,
right? I mean, you're literally giving the team. They gave Green Bay over 4 extra. They gave Green Bay over 4 extra minutes of playing time, and it only took Green Bay 3.01 to get the win. I mean, because that's what they had left with no timeouts. Because remember, both teams used all their timeouts, you know, for goofy stuff. I mean, Green Bay used their timeouts before when it was 6 minutes left, you know, because they were down. And then they went down and scored, and then, you know, they used their timeouts, and then they stopped them, and then I mean, it was a crazy
I was
game.
tilted because I played that showdown mode, and I had a whole bunch of San Francisco because I figured the whole field was going Green Bay, and it worked great all the way into the last freaking 3 minutes of that game.
Till Devontae Adams started clowning.
He went nuts. He's good, man. He's really good. So
he is good.
You want to move to receivers?
No, I got one more.
What you got?
I actually like I got 2 more. I like McCaffrey. I always like McCaffrey, man. Almost. I think there's 1 week I didn't like him. I like McCaffrey because if they use him like they should be using him instead of running the ball, I mean, yeah, okay, give him 10 rushes or whatever, fine, whatever, 12 rushes. But you got to target him 10 to 12 times, Cam Newton. You have to. And if he gets past that front line of Philadelphia, that secondary is horrific.
Yeah, it is. They're banged up.
Yeah,
the front line is good, though, man. The front line is real good.
Yeah, they are. But I like I like McCaffrey, and I like Latavius Murray against the Skins. And I am aware that the Skins boast like one of the top rushing defenses, but I think that's hocus pocus.
I agree with you. If you look at the level of talent they played, they have not played a good running back. They have not, you know, until I think maybe they played one, but it's been like the worst possible running backs that they could have played. Let me look it up.
No, and they haven't played a team like Minnesota. Minnesota's got so many weapons. You can only cover so much. You know, you can only cover so many people. You just can't cover them all, man. You know, you can't have your cornerbacks cheating. You know, you can't have your linebackers cheating. There's nobody to cheat with when you play Minnesota. You're either going in high gear and scoring some points and going toe-to-toe with Minnesota, or you're in a lot of trouble, man. Because that team should definitely score. And, you know, Buffalo, what happened in Buffalo? I mean, look,
I still don't know what happened in Buffalo. That one's still scratching my head on that.
Yeah, but Buffalo's been good, man. Their defense is really good. I don't know how they got that good, but their defense is really good. It's like Tennessee. If you would have asked me and if you would ask who the top defenses in the league are, anybody and everybody, who said Tennessee and Buffalo? Who picked Tennessee and Buffalo in their fantasy drafts? Or who did? Nobody did. Or they did, but it was like way late. Like, oh, okay, I'll just take Tennessee or I'll take Buffalo. Hell, they're the last one there. I mean, did you think Buffalo and Tennessee had this good of defenses? This good, of a defense?
No, I really didn't. I
didn't either. I was looking like Minnesota, Rams, Baltimore, Denver. That's where everything, was when this before the season started. That's where everything was going. I would have never even. I mean, I wouldn't have picked Detroit, but there's like a million other teams. It was 30. I mean, there's like 24 more teams I would have picked besides Buffalo and Tennessee. But it is what it is. Yeah, that's it, man. I like, and Peyton Barber. I don't know, man. I don't know. I get scared because it seems like these mid-level guys are always what kind of gets me bad. So, but that's it. If I had Gurley, like you said, is number one, and Zeke, and this is the week. This is the week to go heavy on running backs because the rest of them you just don't know what they're going to do. So. I'll move the wide receivers right now. Let's go to wide receivers. You got Green and Tyreek Hill. I love Green, love Tyreek Hill. You got Thielen. I know Thielen's going to have 100 yards because he's going to break that record. They're going to get him 100 yards. I don't care how they do it. They're going to get him 100 yards. So you can guarantee 10 points from Thielen right off the jump. Now, I am aware his price is up there, but. Brandon Cooks I like, but I like Robert Woods more because Cooks is also a home run hitter. Most of his damage comes when he catches that long ball. If he does not catch that long ball, it's minimal damage. Woods, him and Cup are I'll say Cup is better, but Woods is not far away from him. Every time.
No, I like Woods a lot this week, actually. Yeah. And like we said, we think I think that guys are going to be on Josh Reynolds just because they think, he's going to take over for Cup. He's not going to take over for Cup. They're not that. I mean, I'm sure they like him. Seems like he's a decent receiver, but I don't think they like him that much. So that's
Golden Tate. Man, I love Golden Tate this week. I think they're going to put the top cornerback's going to be on Gallup. When you're
Galladay.
Out. That's where he's going.
Man, I like all three of them.
Tate is the ones, and Matt Stafford is quarterback. I'm definitely putting that stack in there. But
we talked off the air. Riddick accounted for 6 to 8 targets a game. Those targets have to go somewhere. They're likely not going to go to the running backs because he was their only good pass catching running back. So it's going to get split amongst these three. So they're all three of them. My projections are up this week on them from
but the bell cow's Golden Tate.
Absolutely. I like I think Galladay's their best receiver, to be honest. He reminds me of Megatron. He's like Calvin Johnson, he's the same. He's built like him. He's fast like him. He's taller than all the defensive backs. I don't know. I really like Galladay, but I do think you're right. I think in this matchup, especially against Miami, I think Golden Tate's got the edge.
Yeah, and I love Galladay, but I think the number one cornerback is going to be on him, and he's not slot guy. And put it this way, every third down, I can tell you he's going to Golden Tate. That's it. I mean, Golden Tate is to Stafford what Edelman is to Brady, and you've seen what's happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He totally is.
Yeah, so I love Golden Tate. Of course, Stephon Diggs is nasty. I mean, I know Thielen's, but look, Stephon Diggs is no slouch.
Well, and that's the thing. I think in tournaments, I think you're right. I think people are going to be on Thielen so much that Diggs is going to kind of get lost in the shuffle. And I just think he's a good leverage play there because no one's going to be on him.
Yeah, and he's like $1,000 cheaper too.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, and Landry, your boy Jarvis. I only believe in Jarvis because I read something about him and Mayfield working out.
They got to get on the same page. Yeah, if they could, that's a great pairing, but it make me nervous.
So I'll you know what? I'm gonna eat that pie. I'm gonna eat it. If it's wrong, it's wrong. But
I'm going back to the Antonio Callaway well. The dude that can't catch. He's got to start catching. They got to get him those gloves like those guys that are making all those one-handed catches have where the ball just sticks.
I'm not touching him. He hasn't eclipsed 30 points in all his games played. He hasn't.
Yeah, but his air yards, I mean, they're giving him 2, 3, 4 deep shots down the field every single game. He just hasn't come up with them up to this point. He did in the preseason. He can't. He's just, I don't know what's happened to him, because in the preseason, man, he was catching everything that was thrown his way. And then once it got real, it's like, you're right. It's like he forgot how to catch. But I'm just like, I keep holding out hope that it's going to happen, because he is so fast. They clocked him as the second fastest receiver. He's still got the second fastest. Hit the one touchdown he caught against Baltimore. It was the second fastest pass route of the season behind.
I'm not so sure that Cleveland's going to need to do that this week. I think they've let Mayfield go a little wild. It's time for, and I'm sure this is what's going on. I'm 100% sure. It's time for Mayfield to take a breather and to take a deep breath and play football the way it's supposed to be played. He's not at the level where he can afford deep shots where you have an inconsistent receiver on the other end of the ball. You know, he can't afford that.
Well, they're really banged up too at receiver. I mean, it's really just Callaway and Jarvis, and then they've got basically their third stringer. He actually looked really good last week. Damian Ratley. He actually played a good game last week. He could be a sneaky tournament play to stack with Baker. I mean, he had 8 targets last week. He was at 0.2% owned.
They need to keep everything short. So that's all. I mean, everything needs to be short. All their stuff needs to be, you know, they can't afford to keep taking shots and losing downs, because they're too close in games. And, you know, there's a lot of games they could have won, and these shots are catching up to them because they're losing their downs. And, you know, look, Carlos Hyde he's, you know, 3.9 yards a carry or 3.8 yards a carry. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8, Hyde's not going to get you the first down. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you're, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But, you know, I love Tyler Boyd for Cincinnati, man. He's
really good. He's come out of nowhere kind of too. It was definitely not expected to see what he's done so far this year. It's been pretty impressive. We all thought it was going to be John Ross at the beginning of the year, and it turns out John Ross has been a complete dud. He's healthy, by the way. He will be playing this week.
Yeah, and then, you know, you talk about deep passes. I like John Brown against New Orleans for Baltimore. I know Crabtree had the big week last week, but John Brown is – I like Brown. And Goodwin, I like Goodwin, you know, because if they are down, they're going to have to throw the Goodwin, and they're lining Goodwin up all over the place. So they're moving him around. They're actually doing the right thing with Goodwin instead of just leaving him.
They are, and he's healthy. And they've been really talking him up a lot. They were saying that him and Beathard have found some chemistry and whatnot. So I like Goodwin a lot as well.
Yeah, and then I like Tyler Gabriel for Chicago.
He's going to be – I have a feeling he's going to be chalky this week, as much as I hate to say it. He's got that – he's the Tyreek Hill of the Chicago Bears. And let me see. I have him at like 15%. So, yeah, that's – I mean, for a guy like that at 4,700, that is pretty chalky. That's unusual.
Well, how about I like Deshaun Jackson. He's pretty good.
Him and Jameis just have not been on the same page like ever if you look at their stat line for their like Deshaun Jackson and Ryan Fitzpatrick, that was like a magical pair.
Oh yeah.
It's so weird. Like it's just Jameis just does not look for him at all, and I don't get why, man. He can get open down the field. He's fast. He's got good hands. He's got, you know, I don't know. That one always kind of eluded me and was a head scratcher.
Yeah, what about Albert Wilson, man?
Here's the thing about Albert Wilson. I'm afraid to play him this week because he was in the winning Millie Maker lineup on DraftKings last week, which means everyone's going to play him this week. Everyone that didn't play him last week is going to try to catch that lightning in a bottle, and I just don't see it. I like to.
What are you projecting?
Like 5%.
That's not.
No, it's not bad, but even so, I feel like maybe that projection might be off. I might even go up from there a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
Even if you're wrong by 3%, that's 8%. That's nothing.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, and with
I tell you, I like at the same price as Albert Wilson. You'll love this one. Willie Snead. Mr. Snead had, I saw this earlier. I couldn't believe it. 10 targets last week from Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
10, dude. That's a lot. He's had, let me give you his target lines this year. 6, 8, 5, 7, 7, and 10. I mean, that's like Antonio Brown level targets right there. That's nuts. I mean, he's not catching the ball down the field, obviously. Most of them are little. That's pretty funny. He had 7 receptions on 10 targets for 60 yards. So, but all it takes is one, man, and he gets an open field up the middle, and it's a touchdown, and he just broke the slate. So
sneaky Snead.
Yeah, he is. He's sneaky Snead. You're right, and I actually got him pretty
Snead.
high. I got him at like 15% ownership.
I'm gonna coin that sneaky Snead. All right, well, that's all I got for the receivers, man.
We're really on the same page this week. There's one I really like. There's a predictive model that I like to follow every week. It's Josh Hertzmeyer. He does a predictive air yards model. Basically, what air yards are it's a way to look at how much a receiver's kind of being targeted, how long the ball's in the air before it comes to receiver, and they take into things account like penalties. Like say a guy catches an 80-yard bomb and there's a holding on the line and it gets called back. That 80 yards gets included in the air yards model. And every week he does like, these are the guys who way under exceeded their air yard expectation. Keelan Cole is one of the top guys on the model this week for Jacksonville. And he's a guy that I like because he's one of those great PPR type of guys where he could just break a slate. He could just take, 2 long bombs to the house and score you 30 points on 7 catches. Something like that. So I really like him. I like Maurice Harris a lot this week. For $3K, you're going to get a starting wideout for Washington. Yes, it's Washington. But at the same time, anytime you can get a guy that you know is going to play almost every snap for $3K, you almost can't pass him up. So those are kind of two of like my kind of punts along with Snead. We already talked about Goodwin. He's one of the guys. I'm going to have a Goodwin in a lot of lineups this week, I think. I like Michael Thomas a lot this week because I really do feel like that New Orleans Baltimore. What's the total on that game? I told you earlier what it was. It's 50. So there's 3 games. There's only 3 games. Let me see the Sunday night. I'm sure the Sunday night game is too. Counting the Sunday night game, there's 4 games a total over 50. Rams, San Francisco, Baltimore, Kansas City, or Bengals, Kansas City, Baltimore, Saints, and Browns, Tampa Bay. So that's why I really like. Keep going back and forth on that Ravens New Orleans game because I watched New Orleans just play awful against Cleveland. And I know their defense is nowhere near as good as Baltimore's. And I just feel like maybe you're right that Baltimore might just stifle them. But at the same time, they've got a lot of weapons and they've put up a lot of points. And I put them right up there with Kansas City as one of the top, Kansas City and the Rams. I think it's those 3. I think it's Kansas City, the Rams, and the Saints is the 3 best, the 3 most prolific offenses in the league right now. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm looking for an emotional hangover this week from New Orleans. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. You took the words right out of my mouth. And maybe that after that big primetime game last week, and Drew Brees breaks the record, and they just blow that team out of the water. That maybe you're right. Maybe it could happen. So, I'll give you one other one that I really like that surprisingly I've not heard a lot about this week, and that's Josh Gordon. He played 80% of the snaps last week. He's becoming just a solid piece of that New England offense. And I mean, Brady was just chucking it to him. It reminded me of watching him throw to Moss a few years ago. Man, I could just see by like week 10, like those two just being just right in sync with each other, and Gordon just going off every week. So I don't know. I like Gordon a lot. I like the one guy from Chicago, Anthony Miller. I actually like both the Chicago receivers, Gabriel and Miller. I think a lot of people are going to be on Gabriel. Like I said, I got about 15%. Miller, I got like 1. So and so if New England starts putting up points and this ends up being a shootout, then Miller's floor or ceiling goes way up. The problem is with Sonny Michel out there, if New England starts running and it works, they're just going to run.
Yeah, if they get the lead, they're going to do that.
Yeah, and you're right. And if they get a big lead, if they get out in front by 2 touchdowns, they're going to start just running it too.
Yeah,
and I don't blame them because Sonny's looking off. He's looking good.
Well, plus they have James White. I mean, they'll just eat the clock.
That as well. So, but that would be interesting. But if they do have a big lead, that does mean Chicago's going to be playing catch up, which means they're going to be throwing more. So it could work on both. It could work both ways.
It could work both ways. Yeah, mistakes will be the key to that game, and I would say I don't know if there's a mistake number out there, but I can imagine New England's mistake number is the lowest in the league.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think they probably are. They are almost every year. Belichick don't stand for it. I mean, you make 2 mistakes in a game, you're off the team. Is what it seems like. So, all right, I think we're good on receivers. You want to move to tight ends?
Yeah, it's going to be short.
Yeah, tight ends are eluding me a little bit this week.
I mean, it's Kelce, Ertz, Gronk, Joku, and Uzomah.
Here's the thing, man, with Gronk. I've been struggling with Gronk because I feel like what they're doing with Gronk is they're trying to keep him healthy. He's not getting that. They're not throwing it over the middle to him. They're not even designing plays for him. It seems like they're basically keeping him out there as a blocking tight end, which he is very good at. But at the same time, it's like it's Gronk. Use him, but they don't want to.
Well, you might be right because remember they haven't had him for playoff push.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think that's coming into their minds as well. I think you're right.
And every time you throw to him, you're exposing him to huge hits.
Yeah, because he's putting up the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, and Gronk will have a ball. Let's face it. The minute they make the playoffs, the first catch he makes, he'll get pumped up, he'll get fired up, and Gronk will start firing away. And that's what Gronk. Gronk will be all happy, and that's how it is what it is. Did you know Uzomah was on the field 96% of the snaps?
He was, and he ran. I think I think it was 52 dropbacks by Andy Dalton. He ran pass routes on 48 of them.
Yeah, that's
so. Yeah, he's definitely somebody to look at on Draft Daily because he's going to get the targets. Croft's out again, so he's going to be basically their only pass catching running back or pass catching tight end. So yeah, I do like that. That Dalton does like to target the tight ends. Mm-hmm. So
that's all I have for tight ends, man.
I really like Ertz this week. I think that Ertz is going to be a lot lower owned than he should be because of his price. He is very hard to fit in at 7,100. But man, he is just a target monster, and Wentz just keeps getting better every week, better and better a little bit. You can just tell he's getting back on the swing. I mean, here's his target count since the beginning of the season: 10, 13, 10, 14, 11, and 9. I mean, you don't get that out of most receivers, let alone a tight end. So I don't mind paying that high price for him if I can fit him in there. I will without question. And then. The other one I like, I'm going to bring it back again. You're going to hate me, but George Kittle from San Francisco.
No, I'm the one that's usually I usually like him.
I feel like that game's got one of the highest totals, and they're going to be passing because they're down. And him and Beathard went to college together. It seems to all the pieces seem to fit there. So, yeah. and then obviously the other one is Njoku.
Yeah, Njoku.
So now I have Njoku at like 25% ownership.
Yeah, I'm realizing everybody and their mother likes him.
Yeah, because he's the only one who seemingly gets Mayfield's targeting that actually is catching the passes that he's throwing. He's at 11 and 12 targets in the last 2 starts. So he's another one. He's getting putting up receiver numbers. So tight end's a little tough this week. Tight end's one of those things where if you can find that diamond in the rough, that that Mark Andrews for Baltimore guy that scores 3 touchdowns on 3 passes, you could win the slate this week. So I don't know. I'm struggling. I always have trouble with tight end. It's the hardest position to predict. It really is.
I might punt it this week.
This might be a good week to punt tight end. You might be onto something there, to be honest.
You know who I'm gonna punt it with? Swain.
Okay.
For Dallas.
Okay. Or Goddard.
No,
Dallas Goddard. That's what I was thinking for Philly. Swain. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah. Geoff Swain. Yeah. I only have him at 1%. And he actually is really high up in my ranking.
I'm going to put him in my lineup and punt tight end and level up.
Another good one to look at, it's going to be low owned, is going to be O.J. Howard. The Browns have never been able to defend tight ends. Al Zeidenfeld has this thing he calls the flow chart and basically says, is he a tight end? Yes. Is he playing the Browns? Yes. Then play him. Yes. Like it's pretty much, and it holds true. The Browns give up touchdowns to tight ends almost every week. So that's another one that I like a little bit, is Howard.
All right. Well, that's about it for tight ends. I had I looked at Howard, but I had different numbers for some reason. I don't understand how I had different numbers. Cleveland's been real tough against tight ends, Chris. I mean, they didn't even give up 10 yards last week to a tight end. I had different numbers. I couldn't get behind OJ Howard.
They are ranked third in DVOA against tight ends this year. So
Baltimore had 26 yards against them. I mean, that's 40 yards in 2 games.
Baltimore's an anomaly because they literally have 4 tight ends that they run out there. And you never know which one's going to be out there during the play where they get the look.
Here's the real truth. What Oakland do against them? Jared Cook tore off.
Yeah, he went off.
All right. So maybe I need to look at OJ Howard again. All right. Well, that's all I have for tight ends.
Me too. All right.
Because OJ Howard and Jared Cook. I think Jared Cook's better.
I do too.
But it's not like he's night and day better than OJ Howard. He's a lot better, but it's not. When it comes to tight end, you can't. I mean, it's not. You can't. It's not like compared Todd Gurley and David Johnson right now. I mean, the point difference for Todd Gurley and David Johnson is 15 to 25 points. The point difference between OJ Howard and Cook is minimal. A maximum 10. Yeah, maximum 10. So I got 2 defenses, but one I'm using in everything. And I did it every week. I've hit on these defenses. I'm telling you now, dude. Every week I've hit on them.
So who is it?
Houston. I think Houston's defense is turning a corner. I think that they are pumped. I know they're good. Okay. When you got J.J. Watt disrupting things and Clowney, I mean, look, Houston's defense and Bortles got away with 4 picks and wound up with all them yards. That's hocus pocus, dude. Hocus pocus. This time he's going to have them 4 picks and wind up like 168 yards. Watch, mark my words.
Yeah, Bortles has not been looking very good lately, has he?
Wait till J.J. Watt gets a hold of him. I'm telling you now, dude, I will touch nothing in Jacksonville, not one thing. So I got Houston in everything. Everything I touch will have Houston's defense, period. The only other defense I would consider is Baltimore, and I want Houston in everything. Yeah, I want Houston in everything. They're the right price. They're playing the right team. It just all adds up. So I'll take the Houston. I'll take Houston. I'll take them with every. They're all feds. Who knows what they're going to do? But I'll take Houston's defense and everything.
Okay, I can get with that.
That's it. I'm done, dude.
I tell you who I like, and this is more of a narrative type of thing. So the numbers probably don't back it up, but I like Tampa Bay's defense this week. They're at home. They're playing against a rookie quarterback who has proven to be turnover prone already. they fired their defensive coordinator last week, and that's the biggest piece of this, because it almost always happens. If you watch when an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator gets fired, that team comes out the next week just fired up. Some of it's because the guys are fighting for their jobs. When a new DC or OC comes in, they may restructure the first team, second team, the depth charts. And so these guys all need to have to prove themselves again. And they a lot of times these guys feel responsible for when their coordinator gets fired. So this does something that it brings them up to that next level. And I'm gonna play a bunch of Tampa Bay's defenses this week, as much as I hate to play against my Brownies, but I just feel like it could work. And then the other one that I'm gonna play a lot of that I think will be pretty low owned is Buffalo. I've been playing Buffalo's defense every week, and they've been paying off for me every week.
Yeah, that's how the Jets have been for me every week. The Jets have paid off every week, dude. Every week. I know you don't believe that.
That might be good if that game ends up being real windy and kind of keeps Cousins in check. The Jets could be a steep play. They're pretty.
No. This is the only week I'll be off the Jets.
I don't know, man. I feel like it could be a good week for them. I might actually play them this week.
I'm sticking with my JJ Watts. Crank it up, Watt. Crank it up, baby. Crank it up for Big Daddy.
Yeah, and that could work as well, because that Jacksonville plays really slow. So that game could be one of those, like we saw with the Tennessee Jacksonville game, where it's like 12-9 is the
I think Hyde's going to have 6-7 carries.
I don't think he's going to play.
I do.
They said he wasn't going to.
I think that could change that, dude, Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeldon's been all right, though. He's, I wouldn't.
Well, they also got Chris Ivory, so let's not forget that.
Oh, I did forget that. Chris Ivory's terrible.
Yeah, but Yeldon, I think Yeldon's playing. I think he's playing injured, man. I really do.
I think you're right, and I think that they've just run him into the ground. He played on every snap like the last 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, I think the guy's tired, and I think he's injured. So if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. But I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be going against Clowney and Watt. that's for sure.
Yeah, no, you're right. This would be a good week to get Hyde out there. It really would. But all the reports say that he's not going to play.
Well, then Ivory and Yeldon, and I don't think it does really matter who's the running back there.
No, it really doesn't. Right.
Because
it's not Fournette. No matter what way you look at it, it's not Fournette. So
yeah, and it's a good defensive. Besides the Rams, I wouldn't want anybody else. But come on, dude, you can't even. And Ndamukong Suh is no JJ Watt. JJ Watt is 5 times better than Ndamukong Suh. Do you agree with that?
Well, they play different positions, so it's hard to.
Yeah, but they play up front.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Sue. JJ Watt he's good, but all these new rules really hurt him. The way he tackles.
Yes, but he knows how to play, man. He's not like the guy from Green Bay who gets a penalty every week except the last week.
It's hurt him as well. But you're right. That's who I compare him to. Is his name's escaping me now too. His dad was a wrestler. What the heck's his name? I can't remember. I'm blanking. So
either way, I'm telling you now, you're not. Good luck getting. When you have a mediocre quarterback, and I don't know, you're off the charts every week. You're throwing to a different receiver. You have no chemistry. There's no chemistry there. It's all over the place. It's literally, hey, Bortles, throw the Bortles, throw the ball up. Here, throw it here, throw it there, throw it here. You don't know. Keelan Cole has 5 yards, and Dede Westbrook has 146. Dede Westbrook has 26 yards, and Keelan Cole has 126. It is. He does spread it around a lot. You're right. Yeah, and I don't think he's going to have I don't think he's going to be able to do that. Normally he could catch up to these teams because of the pressure that's being applied to him. I think that the pressure that's going to be applied to him is going to be consistent and constant. And that's why I love Houston, because I know that the pressure, as long as Watt's not injured or Clowney's not injured, He's going to be on his toes the whole game, dude. The whole game's
yeah, you're right.
So I love Houston.
Like Rosen was last night. That offensive line could not keep him upright. I mean, he was dropping back. It's so hard on a rookie quarterback too, because it's just you drop back and you literally by the time you have your first read done, you're running for your life or you're on the ground already.
Well, plus the talent. I mean, let's face it. Look, he's got Larry Fitzgerald. Look, this guy is slow as dirt. I love Larry Fitzgerald. I got all
so do I. He's great. Yeah.
He's got the best hands probably since Jerry Rice.
Yeah, did you see him that one? He took a bad hit last night. He popped right back up too. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but he's he's older. He don't have speed. He can't get separation. I mean, that's why he's so good, because his hands. He's got
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, him and DeAndre Hopkins got great hands, man.
He's somebody we didn't talk about. He's pretty high up on my wide receiver model this week. I really like Hopkins this week.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure. I thought that defense for Jacksonville was really good, but then I saw what happened to him.
That was a good injury that we didn't talk about.
Ramsey?
He didn't travel. Ramsey and
Jalen Ramsey. I'm sorry, Jalen Ramsey.
Well, I think both of them actually. Hold on, let me look here. I'm pretty sure Jalen Ramsey and the other receiver aren't going to travel with the team. They said
the cornerback, Jalen Ramsey. That's the one.
Oh, let me see. I can't find it here now. Of course.
I mean, if that's the case, then I wasn't even aware of that. That makes Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins, and your boy, Mr. McGriff, all playable. Ryan Griffin, the tight end.
Yeah. Griffin's definitely playable. Man, I just saw the note on this a little bit ago, and I can't find it. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to find it here. Why don't you get ready to do our lineup?
All right, let's do it. All right, let's do the Draft Daily lineup now. Oh, wait. Let me share the screen. That would help. Share the screen. Screen share. Application window. Right there. Share. All right. Here we go. All right. I'm in the screen share here. Did you locate it?
No, I can't find it. Yeah, we can move on. I'll post something about it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or I'll keep
looking. Well, make sure you guys, everybody, come to draftdaily.com, Draft Daily Fantasy Sports, where you can play right now in the NFL, and we also have the NBA, so you can have fun and play now, and come enter some contests and win some fantasy gold coin. It's easy to buy fantasy gold. You just select buy fantasy gold. And, well, first you have to log in. Sign up and log in. That's what you have to do. Oops. And enter the wrong password, too. All right, so you sign in the Draft Daily. You sign up, sign in. You can go here or here. It doesn't matter. We'll just use this for craps and giggles. Go to Buy FGC. Insert your debit card and all the information here. It'll take you a minute, and you will be buying FGC. There is a minimum buy of $25, so I will let you know that is like 500 fantasy gold. So it needs to be 550. So I lied to you. All right, and there we go. So 550 fantasy gold, fill in your information, hit buy now, and you're done. Now you have fantasy gold, and you can play on draftdaily.com and one of our fabulous fantasy sports contests. All right, let's enter the not the king of the day, this one, the FGC touchdown. We could do this one. Do I have enough? Yeah, I have enough. Let's do this one. It's not guaranteed. Okay, let's do this one. All right, let's go in here. I am going to go with you're clear. You can see my screen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with
Jalen Ramsey and Dante Fowler not making the trip to Minnesota.
Jalen Ramsey. I was talking about Jacksonville's. Houston plays Jacksonville. Right?
Oh, yeah, this is an old one. Never mind. This is an old one.
Yeah, Houston plays Jacksonville.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an old one. Okay. Yeah, disregard what I said about. I think it looks like he's going to play. So
yeah,
if I see something that otherwise, I'll post it on my Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your Twitter, by the way, for the viewers?
It's at CMHDFS.
All right. There you go. At CMHDFS. Okay. So I'm going to, who do you want to fire away here? I mean, I like Matthew Stafford.
I like Stafford a lot this week too. Actually, Stafford was going to be. I was going to build some Stafford stacks for sure this week.
All right. Well, I
like that a lot.
This is a simple pick. There you go.
There you go.
Now the problem is, I mean, if it's me, I'm
salary wise, it's tough to fit. I like that actually.
It may be, but I don't know. What do you think of wide receivers?
Well, I think we got a stack with at least one Detroit guy.
I think I pick this guy every week, man.
I think you do too. Well, their offensive line has been so bad they can't freaking score. So, all right. I think we probably got to take Tate. If we can fit him salary wise, I don't know if we're going to be able to. You're going to have to punt. Look. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. I like that. I'll take that.
We need to find
do it.
I mean, you need to
find Tate on there. Get Tate in there.
See, that's who I want right there. Or how about this guy?
I don't. After last week, I just don't trust he can do it again. I don't know.
Oh, do you think that's what everybody feels like?
Maybe.
I hope you're right, dude. Because if that's the case, I'll have him.
Get Tate in there and see what we got left. Can we fit him?
I think we can.
Too much. What about Galladay? We got to play one of those guys. All right, so we got 43, so we can get somebody. That's good. This lineup's really nice. It's worked out great.
Yes, it has on draftdaily.com where we have kickers. Yep.
I like Snead. I like
Will. I was going to say you would sneaky.
All right, let's do it. Put Snead in there. Yeah.
Snead.
There you go.
And like I said, look, I have $300 left. I'm not even going to worry about it. Because this is what I like. And I've learned real fast. Honestly, this doesn't even matter what you have left. Because I think if somebody did the numbers, lineups that have had no money left that have won the Millionaire Maker or that have won big contest, it's probably zero.
Well, it really doesn't. It doesn't make you very contrarian because the way a lot of players do is they're just whatever amount they have salary wise left, they're going to find a guy that's that much and just play him because they just assume that the pricing is right. So then that guy should be better than the guy that's a little bit less than him, which is definitely not always the case.
Yep. Okay. So that's it. And this is how simple it is. You just hit enter and continue and you're done. Now, as I said before, and I will show this in every video, it is so simple to enter multiple contests. Just hit my lineups, go to join contests. Look at the contest. Here's everything you need to know. Just click the contest. Make sure you have enough money up here, which I do. So I will enter a bunch of contests here with this lineup. And I'll even enter the free one. I'll enter all of them if I can. Enter a head-to-head. I'm going to enter all these, I mean, you guys can see my lineup, so I'm not going to change it that I know of. This should be, hopefully I have enough money to enter all these. And there they all are. It costs $15.25. I definitely have enough money. I'll enter now. And bada bing, bada boom. There it is. That's how simple it is. And there's everything I entered. Done. That's how easy it is to play on draftdaily.com. I can go back to my lobby. And looks like somebody just bought Fantasy Gold and it's green now. And look at that. There's my entries and there it is. So that's how easy it is to to do Fantasy Gold. Now, since I built that lineup pretty much, I think it's only fair to let you take this one a little bit, Chris. So tell me what you want to do here.
All right, let's do it. Let's start it with Beathard. Go way down there. That's what I like to see right there. I think he's up a little bit from there. Is he? The 4,800, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna go to Goodwin as the stack there. Go ahead and put Gurley in. Put Gurley and Zeke in.
Okay.
And then go to Goodwin.
How far down? There he is.
Yeah, he's not too far down.
Okay.
All right, I got a lot of room left.
Let's take care of this first.
Okay, let's do it Tampa Bay.
Oops. Okay. I know you like indoor kickers.
Let's do I actually got a little bit different. I'm going to do this a little bit different this week because I think Tampa Bay is going to stop Cleveland. So let's play Cleveland's kicker.
Greg Joseph? No. That's
yes. Greg the Leg. How did you know that?
All right.
We got room for Ertz. Do it.
Okay. And wide receivers.
All right, we're gonna have to go down a little bit here. So let's go to who do I like down here? Let's go with the Cleveland receiver I was talking about who can't catch. He was there he is, Callaway. All right, so we've got a little bit more. We can work our way back up a little bit here. Let's see, who else do we want here? Who do you think? Who do you like? How about Gordon? Put Gordon in there. 5,600. And then that leaves us 4,900 at flex. I like to put running backs in my flex a lot of the times. Go over to the flex tab there so we can see who's.
Alvin Kamara?
No, there's not enough. No, I wish. That would be who I would go with if I could.
Look at that.
I don't like Murray. I wish Carlos Hyde was playing because I'd totally play him. No Drake. Staying away from Drake.
Oh, look at that.
You know, I really actually like Corey Clement. I just like him. I play him probably too much. Go ahead and put him in there. He's the best. I mean, just from the eye test, he's so much better than the other running back there. And they just don't, you know what? Scratch that. Take him out and put Keelan Cole in there because he was my buy low air yards guy. He's down 2. He's 4,600. Yeah. Cole. Yeah, Cole. There you go.
Okay. All right, cool.
I like it. All
right, there it is. We both had 300 left. That's nice. Crazy.
So now my lineup's a little bit anti-correlated because I'm playing 2 Cleveland guys in the Bucs defense. But why I'm doing that is because I'm thinking that there's going to be turnovers. I'm not thinking that there's going to be that the Bucs are going to hold Cleveland to under 10 points or something like that and get points for scoring. I think they're going to get points off of turnovers.
All right. Well, there it is. Once again, built it. And there it is.
Nice. Awesome.
So now that's it. That's how easy it is. And we are done. So that's it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. You have any last thoughts or anything?
No, that's it. Just good luck this week. And I hope I win. But if I don't, I hope one of you guys wins.
Yeah, I always hope everybody wins. Don't forget to check out Fantasy Gold. Get some Fantasy Gold. Get in our daily fantasy sports. Have a ball. And play.
Get in our Discord.
Yeah,
get in our Discord. Links on draftdaily.com, and we have a lot of fun in there.
Yeah, we do.
Sundays.
Yeah, we do. Yep. All right. Well, actually, this Sunday, it doesn't matter. I'll be there. No, yeah. You know what, Chris, you might need to cover for me this Sunday, but we can. Well, let's do it now. I don't care if we're on there. Look, can you cover for me? I'm not going to be there Sunday to do play-by-play.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be there, man.
Okay. All right. Well, other than that, man, thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hammer down on that subscribe button, and share this and like this. And thank you, everybody. And me and Chris will see you later and have a great week 7 in the NFL. Bye-bye, guys.